I still don't know why I agreed to go camping that weekend. Maybe it was stress, maybe it was boredom, or maybe I just wanted to prove to myself that I could handle being alone in the woods without freaking out like I usually do. My friend Mark invited me, but he backed out last minute because of work. That should have been my first warning. Still, I went anyway. The campsite was deep in a forest, about 3 hours outside the city. No cell signal, no nearby cabins, just a dirt road leading into thick trees that seemed to swallow the sunlight whole. The ranger at the entrance gave me a long look when I checked in. He didn't say anything specific, just handed me a map and said, "Stay where people usually stay." That line stuck with me more than it should have. By sunset, I had set up my tent near a small clearing. The air felt too still, like even the birds were holding their breath. Around 9 p.m., I started hearing movement outside the tree line. At first, I thought it was deer. Then I heard footsteps that didn't sound right. Too steady, too deliberate. And they didn't stop.
I told myself it was just my imagination. Woods make weird sounds all the time, right? Branches snapping, animals moving, wind pushing through leaves. But this was different. The footsteps kept circling my camp, slow and measured, like whoever or whatever was out there didn't care if I knew they were there. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped outside the tent. The beam cut through the darkness in shaky sweeps, revealing nothing but trees and uneven ground. I called out, trying to sound confident. "Hello? Is someone there?" No answer. Just silence so thick it felt intentional. Then my flashlight flickered. Once, twice, and for a second, I swear I saw something standing between two trees. Not moving, just watching. I froze. When I blinked, it was gone. I didn't sleep after that. I sat inside my tent, knife in one hand, flashlight in the other, listening to footsteps that never seemed to get closer, but never went away either. It felt like the forest had decided I wasn't alone anymore, and I was the only one who didn't belong there. Around midnight, something changed. The footsteps stopped. At first, I felt relief, real relief, like my body finally remembered how to breathe. But then the silence started feeling wrong, too complete. Even the insects stopped chirping. No wind, no rustling leaves, just dead stillness. That's when I heard something new. A soft tapping on the outside of my tent. 3 taps. Pause. 3 more taps. Slow, deliberate, like someone testing my reaction. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe too loud. I just stared at the thin fabric wall between me and whatever was out there. My flashlight sat beside me, useless if I turned it on too quickly and gave away my position. Then a voice came, low, almost friendly. "Hey, I think you're in my spot." My stomach dropped. That didn't sound like a ranger or a lost hiker. It sounded too calm. I whispered back, "I'm sorry. I didn't know anyone else was here." No response. Just more tapping. The tapping stopped after that, but I couldn't relax. I stayed frozen, listening for any sign of movement. Minutes passed, maybe more. Time felt broken out there. Then I heard footsteps again. But this time, they were inside the clearing, not circling it. Slow, moving away from my tent. like whoever it was had accepted my answer and was leaving. I should have been relieved. Instead, I felt watched in a different way now, like I had just passed some kind of test I didn't know I was taking. Around 1 a.m., I finally built up the courage to unzip my tent slightly. Just a crack, enough to look out. The clearing was empty, but something was wrong. My fire pit had been disturbed. Not destroyed, arranged. The rocks were shifted into a shape that looked almost intentional, like a circle within a circle. And inside it, my map, the one the ranger gave me. I hadn't taken it out.
I didn't sleep after that. I just sat there, staring at that map, trying to convince myself I had dropped it earlier without noticing. That was the only logical explanation. But deep down, I knew I hadn't. At around 2:30 a.m., I heard something that made my skin go cold again. Movement inside my camp. Not outside the tent this time. Inside the clearing. Very close. I slowly reached for my flashlight again. Before I could turn it on, I heard a zipper sound. My tent. Someone was touching it from the outside, slowly dragging the zipper a few inches up. Not rushing, not forcing, just testing. I whispered, "Stop. Please stop." The movement paused. Then a breath came from right outside the fabric. So close I could almost feel it. And then the voice again. "Don't look at me when I come in." I snapped. I shoved the flashlight on and stabbed the beam straight at the tent wall. My voice cracked as I shouted, "Get away!" Nothing. No shadow, no movement, no footsteps running off. Just silence again. I unzipped the tent fully and jumped outside, swinging the flashlight in every direction like it might actually protect me. The clearing looked empty again, but now it felt staged, like someone had cleaned up their presence before I could see it. That's when I noticed something new. My backpack was unzipped. Inside it, my phone was gone. But it wasn't stolen. It was placed on top of a rock about 10 feet away, screen glowing. And it was recording. I walked toward the phone like I was in a dream I couldn't wake up from. Every step felt wrong, like the ground was softer than it should be. The phone was still recording, timer running. I picked it up. The video showed my tent from earlier, but from a different angle. A hidden angle. And in the footage, I saw myself sleeping earlier in the night. But behind my tent, in the trees, someone had been standing the entire time. Watching. Not moving. Just waiting. I felt my stomach drop so hard I thought I might actually throw up. The video ended right as I was about to look closer at the figure. Then, the phone vibrated in my hand. A new recording started automatically. This time, it was live. I dropped the phone immediately. It hit the ground, but the recording kept playing through the speaker. Footsteps. Slow. Close. Then my own voice from earlier in the night, whispering things I didn't remember saying. The forest around me felt smaller now, like it was closing in. I grabbed my backpack and decided I was leaving.
I didn't care about the rules, the ranger, or anything else. I just needed out. I started down the trail with my flashlight shaking violently in my hand. Every second, I didn't understand what I was looking at. It was my tent, my gear, even the fire pit arranged the same way. But I hadn't set this one up. I stepped closer, slowly, trying to make sense of it. Everything looked freshly used, like someone had just left. Then I saw footprints. Mine. Leading from the duplicate camp, deeper into the forest, not away from it. I should have turned back. Every instinct screamed at me to run in the opposite direction. But I followed them anyway, because part of me needed to know who or what was doing this. The trees grew tighter the deeper I went, until the flashlight barely helped. And then I saw something hanging from a branch ahead. A second backpack. Mine. I didn't touch it right away. I just stared at it, breathing hard, trying to convince myself this was some kind of prank, some ranger joke gone too far. But nothing about this felt like a joke anymore. The backpack swayed slightly, even though there was no wind. I finally reached up and unzipped it. Inside was my wallet, my ID, and a printed photo of me sleeping inside my tent, taken from outside. Underneath it was a handwritten note. You already left once. That's when I heard footsteps behind me again. Close. Too close. I turned around fast. Nothing. Just trees. But the silence wasn't empty anymore. It felt occupied, like something was standing just outside my flashlight's reach, waiting for me to stop looking in the wrong direction. I started backing away slowly, keeping the light steady. That's when I saw it. A shape between the trees. Human-sized. Not running. Just Matt. I ran. There's no pride in it, no bravery, just pure instinct taking over. I sprinted down the trail, branches hitting my face, dirt slipping under my feet. But the footsteps followed. Not fast, not slow, perfectly matching my speed. Like it didn't need to catch me, because I was never getting away. I burst out into a wider clearing and stopped to catch my breath, gasping, trying to listen. No footsteps, no movement, just silence again. And then my phone buzzed in my pocket. A new video started playing. It showed me running. But the camera angle was from in front of me. I collapsed onto the ground, staring at the phone like it was some kind of proof I was losing my mind. The video showed me from the front, running straight toward the camera. But there was no one there in front of me. That meant it wasn't just following me. It was already ahead of me. I stood up slowly, turning in circles, trying to find anything that made sense. That's when I saw a light in the distance. A road. Real, actual headlights. I stumbled toward it like it was salvation. But halfway there, the light flickered and disappeared. Like it was never there in the first place.
I don't remember how long I walked after that. Minutes? Hours?
Everything blurred together. The forest felt endless now, like it had reset itself every time I tried to leave. Eventually, I found something that didn't belong there. A ranger station. Old, abandoned looking, but the door was slightly open. I pushed it gently. Inside, it smelled like dust and something metallic. And on the desk were reports, stacked neatly, all with my name on them, dated over different years. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the papers. Every report described a missing camper. Same description, same campsite area, same timeline, but different years. Some of them even had notes written in my handwriting. I backed away from the desk, feeling sick. That's when I heard the radio turn on by itself. A crackle. Then, a voice. Calm. Familiar. Stop running. You already know how this ends. I shouted back, "Who are you?" Only static answered. Then the radio shifted frequency, and I heard something worse. My own voice. Not from now. From earlier. From the tent. From the phone. All overlapping, repeating like a loop that wouldn't end. I slammed the radio off, but it turned back on instantly. I realized something in that moment that I didn't want to accept. This wasn't someone chasing me. This was something that had already finished chasing me. A long time ago. And I was just replaying it. I ran out of the station again, refusing to believe what I was hearing. But the forest didn't feel like a forest anymore. It felt like a loop. Every direction looked familiar, even when it shouldn't have. Then, I saw the campsite again. My campsite. Perfectly rebuilt. Waiting. This time, the tent flap was open. Like an invitation. Or an ending.
I didn't go inside right away. I stood there for a long time, just staring at it. Something inside me kept telling me that if I stepped in, I wouldn't be stepping out again. But I was already tired. Not just physically, mentally. Like the forest had drained something out of me I didn't know I needed. I finally stepped inside. The moment I did, the zipper closed behind me. Not by wind, not by chance, by intention. And then I heard breathing. Not mine. I turned slowly. Nothing was there. But the tent felt occupied. Heavy. Like someone was sitting right across from me, just outside the edge of visibility. My flashlight flickered, then died. And in the darkness, I heard the voice one last time. Not angry, not threatening, just final. You stayed longer than the others. Then silence. Complete silence. When I woke up, I was back at the ranger station, sitting on the steps. Sunlight, normal birds,
normal wind. But my gear was gone. And the ranger looked at me like he had seen this before. He didn't ask questions. He just said, "You came back earlier than expected this time." I wanted to scream at him, ask him what was happening, ask him why I was there again. But he already turned away, like the conversation had already happened before, and I was just late to it.